Messy Coder back again with the second part of my Opsive video. That's right, the live dev interview of Opsive was so big, even bigger than the first video, we had to chop it up into two pieces. So this time, we're going to start looking at the editor. That's why we get to see what it looks like in the editor of Unity for the Opsive's Ultimate Character Controller. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a second. Do you want to show us something from the editor?
Yeah. So I guess what do people want to see from the editor side of things?
We want to see it.
Yeah, just see it.
Do it.
So, all right, can you see my screen?
Yeah, let me make you big. Everybody want to see everything. And oh, biscuits! Oh, he just got up. He's woken up and he just greeted me by ripping the flesh off of my hand. You little git. Discord window. Okay. Can you guys see this? Can you see the screen? Mbarn Atul is asking, what is the US thing? And Corpus so politely responds, probably Ultimate Survival. Yes, it probably is. Cool, you guys can see the screen. All right, we are doing a Discord share, so the quality might not be the best in being able to read what's on the screen, but it's better than nothing, so, you know, what are you complaining about? Over to you, Justin.
So here's the scene. I guess I'll just go through the character builder first. Here's the character builder. It's really similar to the last one, where let's get Nolan in here. And then I guess the big difference is that one of the first asks you which perspective you want to be in, and depending on which asset you have, it will either be here or not. I guess if you only have first or third person, then you won't get this option. But this can be added or changed later. One of the big differences is that with this version, you do a lot of the editing, I guess, within this editor window rather than changing stuff within the actual inspector. So it makes adding or configuring the existing characters a lot easier. There's item types similar to before. UFPS and third person had a whole bunch of different item types. Now we just have a single item type, and everything is an item type. A pistol is an item type, a bullet is an item type. There's no consumable or dual wield or whatever different types of items. The item builder is a little bit more complicated just because there's the different perspectives that you have to account for. If I go inside Nolan, you'll see that there's the items right here for all the different items that I have. And if I scroll down, well, the first component is this standard item component, just the basic equip, unequip type of settings for that. If I keep scrolling down, it has some UI items or UI related elements, has a whole bunch of different events that you can subscribe to. Melber's suggested this. And then here's the different state machine for that. First person perspective item, this was a lot taken from UFPS with the spring system, and it basically just controls your positioning of the item in first person view. If I scroll down a little bit further, third person has a similar third person perspective item, but it doesn't really have as much to it since it's always just going to be in the character's hand. This is kind of a new part for third person, or compared to third person, is that you can have multiple different types of actions in this case. So here's a shootable weapon, and then if I scroll down, there's some different properties for that shootable weapon, and then there's the melee weapon for it. So actually, you didn't know you could show this, but let me hit play, and let me go pick up the assault rifle. The assault rifle, it shows better in first person, but you can shoot like standard, or you can press B and then you'll be able to melee the weapon.
Nice.
And that's controlled through this other action component. So you can have as many action components as you want. If you look at the sword, it does the in-air attack through this second melee weapon. So I can specify like a specific animation for when he's in the air, and you can have specific audio for that or specific collision settings and whatnot.
Do you know about MK goes? I said about melee system being like Dark Souls melee combat. Do you know about?
So this first release won't have as much melee combos right now, but we would like to add a little bit more to it. On the forums, we got some suggestions to it, so that's going to be in the first update. It is a improved melee system. We're done adding features to this current version because we want to get it out.
You've got a deathmatch kit. Will it work with UTC?
It will eventually. We're going to deprecate deathmatch when we release this version 2, just because it's not going to work right away. But that's going to be a lot of fun to see, because I've always wanted to see it in first person, and it will work with both. The nice thing, yeah. So if I click on this main character controller component, or the main character, so the main thing that you're going to be working in is this ultimate character locomotion component, and this has the different movement types, which allows you to kind of just configure how the character moves. The motor settings, a lot of it is from UFPS and some physics settings. Collisions, this was actually really great for AI. You can disable collisions, like specifically on the horizontal axis or the vertical axis. So a use case for that is the nav mesh agent, for example, doesn't need to detect horizontal collisions because the nav mesh is already built, so he won't be straying off of that. The ability system is broken up into 2 different parts. Here's the main ability system, and that's really similar to third person, but there's obviously some new features to go along with it. There's this general setting that allows you to kind of specifically say, if this ability is active, hey, maybe I don't want to use gravity in that case, or I want to always force root motion position or root motion to be active. You can also equip or unequip or force the items to be equipped or unequipped during that time. Then there's these item abilities, which is basically a subclass of the ability system, and that's what's controlling all the different shooting and equipping and unequipping. And this equip unequip is the problem that we've been having, probably for the reason why you had to restart your instance probably 5 or 6 times or 4 or 5 times out of this session. So I kind of had a feeling that this could be causing problems in release candidate 1, just because I restructured it a lot a day or 2 before. So it doesn't surprise me too much that there's a lot of issues, but we'll get them fixed. The effects have a separate area as well. The effects was brought over from UFPS, and it's kind of a lightweight ability in terms of what you can do with them. Then there's a bunch of different events. There's a handler which controls it works with the player's input. So an AI agent or a network agent would not, or a network character would not use this. Here's the inventory system, and it's actually really a lot less than what version 1 of UFPS or third person has. A cool little feature is that when you hit play, it will show you what you currently have in the inventory. So right now it's just the body, which allows the punching and the kicking. If I go, and so now I have an assault rifle, and so it'll kind of show you that, a live view. The item set manager manages when items are available or when items are equipped. So the inventory doesn't do the actual equip or determine what should be equipped. It's just basically a storage container. And this says, hey, we're at item set 0 right now. So slot 0 is the assault rifle. Slot 1 is nothing. So slot 0 corresponds to his right hand. And so the assault rifle should be in his right hand. You'll notice that there is no bow and arrow pistol combo, although this does make like adding new weapons really, or dual wielding weapons really easy, because all that I need to do, for example, is let me add the assault rifle pistol. We don't have any animations for this, so it's not going to look good, but let me enable free roam and see where I'm at. Good. So right now I will pick up or I'll start with the assault rifle. And let me, oh, I gotta add it to my inventory. But if I start with the assault rifle, and then I change this item type or this item set to be able to have pistol as well. In theory, when I pick up the pistol, I should be able to dual wield the assault rifle and pistol without doing anything. And of course, it's not going to work right now. But that's the idea behind it. The assault rifle item set wasn't being picked up.
It looks like it'd be quite easy to integrate this with something like Rucksack or Inventory Pro, because the way you.
Oh yeah, I don't think that that aspect's gonna. It's good. I think it should be fairly easy to do. If we let me actually bring up the inventory class. Let's see. So the inventory is structured so that there's a base component, or there's a base class to it, which just contains some abstract methods, and then let's see where, so here's some abstract classes, and then it's the actual class that implements the inventory will be doing the actual implementation. And this inventory is 195 lines long. So yeah, it's a basic inventory, but it should be easy to, we kind of designed it to be able to integrate well with other assets. The Unity input component kind of just controls the input in the player from the player. Character responder is pretty basic. Character health, here's what allows your headshots, and that this damage multiplier will be increased. If I click on that character that had the headshots, wherever he's at. So if I click on his name's Headshot Joe. And where is his health? So yeah, his head is right here. Oh, I want the object to always be alive. So I set a damage multiplier of 0, and then there's a callback that gets sent, and that will play the audio and then light up this headshot text. So if I scroll down, let's see. So this is the IK component. We're using Unity's IK system for this. I missed the attribute manager. The attribute manager allows you to kind of create generic attributes for it, for the character. So we have health and shield right now, but you could have stamina that, for example, decreases when you're running. And you can set that up without having to change any code. The item handler will move the items in first person view. Layer manager allows you to set which layer. And then there's this character foot effects, which will play the step sounds, and the perspective monitor will enable and disable the character's materials as you're switching perspectives. So if I go click on Nolan, you'll see that here's the Nolan character, and then behind him is the assault rifle for the first person view, and anything that you do in third person, it will also do in first person, even if you're not in that perspective. So if I reload, you'll see that it reloads it in both. And then when I switch, his head and his arms disappear. But really, his arms are obviously still there. It's just that the material is hidden. So body arms, you can kind of see the outline of the arms for the third person view. And that enables shadows and stuff like that. So that's kind of a basic overview of what the main components do. The camera has another kind of similar system to the ability system where you can create different view types. And so we have all of our various view types here. The free look, actually, if I hit enter, now notice how if you look at my arms, the character is not actually moving. It's just the arms that are moving, and so it enables a free look. You can also set it so that the arms will not move at all by adjusting the pitch. This could give some weird effects, but But yeah, so like right now I'm moving the camera independently of the weapons. You can, yeah. So I guess that's a pretty basic overview of the high level overview of all the different components.
That's a that is a lot of stuff we can configure in the editor.
Yeah, we've had some time with this asset. It's really designed to be able to be used with any asset or in any situation, and I really like how it's structured.
Yeah, there was a question earlier about if you're going to be making tutorials. So
Yes.
answered that saying that you're creating tutorials for it, and you've got
Yes.
extensive documentation for UFPS. There was some great tutorials. Like, is it Red Hawk? I can't remember. His
Red
name.
Hawk, yeah. Yeah, well, I've been talking to him, not specifically on the tutorial aspect, but I plan on getting with him to see if he'd be interested in creating some tutorials, just because there really is a lot here, and the videos that I'm going to be able to create in the week before release probably won't be enough, or I know it won't be enough. So yeah, well, I've been writing the documentation for this for probably about the past 4 or 5 months, just slowly adding to it. So we have a lot of documentation to it already, but we don't have any videos created yet, just because we're finally getting towards the end.
It feels like it's going to take you probably a year to make.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll start with the basics first, and then kind of go advanced.
Well, we're looking forward to it, mate. It's a lot more editable than I thought it was going to be for the first release. But wow, it is.
Yeah, we've had some time with this, so we didn't want to release too early and kind of release a half-assed version of UFPS and third person kind of joined together. And we're fortunate enough that their existing assets have been able to continue selling, and we were able to just kind of stay focused on creating the best controller that we could.
You've got tooltips on all of these.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And your code's all documented, and you've got
right. And yeah, every method is commented. It has headers. It's structured well.
Nice. The UFPS feels like it was always on sale. Whenever there was a sale going on, it was always.
Yeah. UFPS, the lowest price it ever got was $5. So the UFPS guy, Vision Punk, he started it off at $20, and he would put it on 50% sales, so that would be reduced to $10. And then Unity put it in a sale at that time, so you could have gotten UFPS for $5 at one point. And then about a year before we acquired it, he upped the price to $95, and then he did about a 50% sale once a month. And I don't want to mess with any of that. I'd like more of a stable revenue at the current price. So
it just means that nobody buys it; they just wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah, so we're not gonna do any personal sales with any of our assets, or we don't have plans to do personal sales. And behavior designers in sales Unity sponsored sales pretty often, and I probably won't be listing, or we probably won't be listing this in the next official Unity sale whenever that happens, just because it will be so new. So if you're waiting to get it on sale, probably it'll happen in 2019 eventually.
What are Unity like as a publisher? I mean, what's it like working with them? Are they helpful?
Yes and no. The actual asset store staff are extremely helpful, and I think there was one person who worked for the asset store who was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still in there, but we have a pretty good relationship with them.
Oh, who was that?
And Justin Collins.
Oh, I've had messages from him. He's always helpful on mails.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's extremely helpful. I don't see him in. It doesn't look like he's in there anymore. But no, the asset store has been really great to work with. We're kind of having a problem right now in that, well, not really a problem. We're just waiting on a solution in that UFPS is still on the old publisher account, Vision publisher account. And in order to do the upgrade, they all have to be on the same publisher account. So in order to do this UFPS upgrade that we want to do to offer the reduced price, you have to we're going to have to do that upgrade, but they have to be on the same publisher account, which means that the asset store devs have to manually switch it over, and that's what we're kind of waiting on them for. So we're not going to be able to release this version 2 until UFS gets moved over, or until there's some way to do the upgrade, since I want to be able to offer an upgrade cost to everybody versus having to make everybody rebuy the full version just because Unity couldn't transfer the account.
How come it hasn't been transferred already?
The support ticket was created in September of last year. So that's a good question.
Wow.
But they say this month, so I'll just keep getting more and more annoying to them until it's transferred.
You haven't had any of your assets accidentally deprecated off the asset store, have you?
No, nothing like that.
Okay, good. There has been quite a few cases of asset developers that have, ones that have come into the chat as well, have had cases where they've complied with everything the Unity asset store have told of them, and then all of a sudden their assets just suddenly vanish. And
oh, really? Huh.
It's happened to Aquarius Max a number of times, and they eventually apologize and put things back, but
right. But that's days of lost revenue for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, whenever anything like that happens, there's always people going, well, there's no smoke without fire. Has to be a reason. You're like, yeah, because they made a mistake, and that's why. So there's always the fallout of not only the monetary impact, but also sometimes reputation as well.
Right.
Defend that.
Well, if they want to accidentally deprecate glow effect, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Stop making me spray my drinks all over my monitors. I'm going to send you the bill.
But no, so the plan is to, we'll deprecate third-person UFS when version 2 is released. We'll do the upgrade, and we will have to deprecate deathmatch until we get it working with version 2.
Let me pop back into you. I'll let you stop sharing your screen now in case
right.
anything inappropriate comes up. So, talking about what it's like being an asset store developer on Unity, what advice would you give an aspiring, up and coming, young or old, enthusiastic person who wants to be an asset store dev?
I guess my most experience with this was when we weren't really too well known with behavior designer and how we got behavior designer known, and it was mostly just because of all the different integrations. So I highly recommend to integrate with other assets, just because it shows that your code is flexible, and it makes other people's lives easier in terms of the integration. The integration, you can't cover all the features from the other asset with your asset, but just covering the major ones will solve a lot of people's issues, and then they can kind of continue on if they need any deeper integration. So just kind of getting the starting of it has really helped us, and I think is a great way to kind of show that your asset can work with other assets. So if anybody's interested in integrating with Ultimate Character Controller, let me know.
So is that also about building relationships with other developers?
Oh yeah, completely. Because then they'll also advertise your asset that you're integrated with them. So you just kind of get more well known because of that.
So Adam Goodrich does a thing where he's got this supports Gaia or works with Gaia logo that it appears on a load of people's assets now. So on other people's assets, he's basically getting now free publicity and free advertisement for his stuff. Right.
Yeah, UFS had something similar like that. I don't know really how many assets actually do it, but
so that basically you have to be in a position where your name adds value, adds gravitas to your the other person's asset. So you're piggybacking off the reputation of somebody else to say, it's compatible with this person's asset, therefore it must be good. That's not always the case though. So would you be one of these people who say, okay, other people putting my logo on their asset, but they're putting my logo on something that's bad, that's going to be damaging my reputation. How does that work?
Well, you really don't have any control over what somebody else does on their asset store page. Like I think with Gaia, there were people who were advertising it works with Gaia, but it didn't actually really have an integration with it.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah, so it's the asset store staff. They don't really monitor or control that aspect of things. So there's really not too much you can do.
I'm just playing about with your bows and arrows again. I'm not trying to find a bug, trust me.
Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for one of those bugs to pop up again.
I did enjoy it. What actually got you into Unity in the first place?
We released a couple of games using the Torque game engine.
Yay!
And then
Games.
Torque 2D, and then that was slowly dying off, and Unity was kind of the big name on that for mobile. So that's what we switched over to.
What was that other kit? Reva or something? It's website. Everything was black. It was Unity, Torque, and there was this other one. Does anyone remember? Does anyone in chat remember the third one? I'm trying to. Let me go and try and find Google. Reva game engine. What was it called? No, it doesn't exist. I'll have to try and find people that I know who used to use it, and then on next stream I'll remind everyone about it. So you actually used Torque 2D. I never used that. I never used the 2D version.
Yeah, the 2D version was what we released first game with. So that was on. We released our first game on iOS in 2009. So right when the App Store was new, and the freemium wasn't all over. So it was a good introduction, I guess, to doing games on mobile.
And Unity in comparison to Torque 2D, completely different world.
Oh, completely. I don't even remember Torque anymore.
Those nightmares have gone.
Yeah, right.
So what's going to happen now with the game that you are going to make to use the glow?
Yeah, we'll advertise it all over our.
Because we need that. We need that game in our lives.
Right. Yeah.
So how many games have you worked on now?
We've done 2 games. Both have been for iOS. One did really well, and the other one didn't do so well. And then switched over to assets since it's a more stable revenue.
I managed to get my head touching on that to make myself teleport. Come on, man. We had one not do so well, and that put you off making your own game.
It did, in the sense that we could realize that there's more potential on the asset store.
So people ask me this question: can you be an asset store developer and buy a house?
With a mortgage, yeah.
Could you buy a fancy car and a house with a mortgage?
Well, it depends on how fancy, and I mean, there's 2 people living off of our revenue, so.
Well, there you go, Malbers. Don't get married just yet, and you'll be able to meet your target. Part of my video that had the Malbers animation that got me copyright claim, I won't say it now because I'm falling off that thing. Malbers said what his target was, that he'll stop making assets and work on a game once he hits his target of monthly revenue from an asset store developer. And I got married and bought a house, but Ecuador is much cheaper. There you go. Although, I don't think you can buy a house in Cuba though, can you? Because everything's owned by the state. I don't know how. I'm just assuming that's how Cuba works. Just going by what we've learned from watching Auf Wiedersehen Pet and other TV programs about people going to Cuba. So when are we going to find all these bugs fixed then?
Oh, this week. We're going to do release candidate 2 within a few days. We'll have all these fixed.
Nice. I like that. I like that attitude. I like that positive attitude.
We need to get done. We need to get this thing out.
You need to get that new sports car and mortgage paid.
Right, exactly. We need to buy a house. It was a fancy car.
And move to Ecuador.
Yeah, right.
So if you had a time machine and you could go back and visit the younger you and the younger Sarah, what advice would you give?
Don't worry about piracy.
Really?
So it's not going to hurt or help your sales, or I mean, it won't hurt your sales because if you release enough updates quick enough, then it's it. I mean, people will want the latest, and the pirate won't be able to keep releasing it. There, I guess you don't also have to provide support to people who pirate your assets. So, in a sense, it doesn't hurt you besides any potential lost revenue if there is any. But Infinite Runner, the second asset that we made was pirated, and I was so worked up over it. But there's really nothing you can do about it since you could issue DMCA requests, but that's not. I mean, there's just so many of them, and then it gets on a torrent. So we actually put a lot of our stuff behind an invoice check for one of those reasons.
I was going to ask you about that. Have you seen that's making a massive difference?
It does help, yeah. And we've done it for so long, I can't say whether or not the sales have been affected by it because there's really no way to tell. But I've just stopped worrying about it. And
so how does that work with Unity invoice check? They give you a tool like a web service that you can call the ID, and then it tells you if your asset was included, or does it give you the whole list of everything that was purchased?
Just the stuff, just your assets that were purchased. The invoice check that we use on our website, it's a JSON call, and then it just basically returns whether or not it's a valid purchase or not, and purchased it and for how much. So,
and for how much? So you know if somebody bought it on a sale.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
So you can provide less support to them.
Exactly. Well, you only got it for 40%. There was your price.
Right. So I'm only providing 40%.
Exactly. That's cunning. That is cunning. I like it. I like what you're doing there, Opsive. Well done.
No, we treat everybody equally. I can't say that.
No matter what you get, apart from when it comes to upgrades, if somebody got your stuff on a sale, are they able to get the upgrades at the same price, or are they stung with the upgrades?
So if you purchased UFS 5 years ago for $20 or for $5, you'll get the same price as purchased it 6 months ago for $75.
Wow. Okay, there you go. That lucky person who's out there. Or if he got it with a voucher. Yeah, can you see if he got it with a voucher? If he got gifted?
Yeah, it's a $0 sale price.
Oh, there you go. Do you give him zero support? No.
Right, yeah.
The thing is, like, can you see if it was a voucher that you gave to me to give out in a raffle? In which case, you should have a red flag that appears.
Right.
We've had a few people that actually are asset store developers who have issues with piracy a lot. One of the reasons why I think Mehraj is not in the chat, that he doesn't actually sell on the asset store, is that he basically he knows every single person that he's sold his kits to. So when something gets pirated, he's able to try and chase it down and find exactly who that person that was that leaked his asset.
Yeah, there's a lot that Unity could do in order to decrease the amount of pirates. I mean, if you don't even look at the pirate aspect, where third-person behaviors are in the editor extensions category of the asset store, which is technically per seat. Well, there's really no way to enforce that at all, and so it's somebody could download it at the company and then distribute it to 10 other people. But supposedly with the package manager that's going to be coming out there, or that's already out, but they'll be increasing the number of features in it. This should make asset management like that a little bit more manageable, and it will hopefully help. If it doesn't reduce piracy, it will actually help with people who have already paid money for it and say, hey, this is a per seat license. You should have a license per seat. So hopefully it'll help in that aspect.
I can't see how it'll stop them manually importing in an offline package though.
No, it won't help that, but it'll keep the honest people.
Oh, you'd hope it'll keep the honest people honest.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you're distributing the raw source, you really can't protect that at all.
So what's your just quite a weird thing that's been people keep on asking me about Ultimate Survival now that it's no longer for sale by the developer. His website, you could if you wanted to buy it, you would have to contact the creator. But people are saying like, can you send me his code? Can you send me your code? And I'm like, no, that's called piracy. It's illegal. But with your assets that are deprecated and they're no longer for sale and you're no longer supporting them, what's your view on people distributing that and keeping that alive, even though you're not selling it and you're not supporting it anymore?
I mean, sure. But there's, I mean, I guess specifically for Glow Effect, I don't think anybody, I don't think anybody cares enough to kind of keep up maintaining it, especially with the scriptable render pipelines coming into view soon. But no, that's a good way to kind of extend the life of it.
So you could actually just, instead of deprecating it and killing it, make it open source and give it to the community.
Yeah, but then I feel like if I make it open source and I have an account, then I am responsible for maintaining it somewhat. I don't know. I would feel bad just listing it. Yeah, I guess is it better to list it and not support it at all, or not list it at all? But I don't know. I don't think Glow Effect is popular enough to want to go through that.
I think there's actually a cult Glow Effect community out there.
Do you have a license to it?
No. Hey, I've got behavior designer. Leave me alone.
Okay.
There you go. And on that note, Mr. Opsive's Justin, thank you very much to Sarah for all of your help in chat. You've been a pleasure in the chat room. Thank you very much. Justin, you've been
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for letting us play. Thank you for sharing your screen and showing us all the funky stuff in the editor. Question by D-Zone Raven saying, when is it live in the asset store? It takes a while for stuff to get approved on the asset store, doesn't it?
It'll be live shortly after we'll be able to get it live shortly after we get it submitted.
Can I kill this horse?
What's that?
Oh! That poor horse. I headshotted him with the bow and I caused him to sink into the ground.
Oh. Looks like it's probably,
Oh, that poor horse. Not a bad shot, I have to say. Although the arrow doesn't move, yet the horse's head does. And can we get on him? Nope, we can't get on him. Poor horsey. Don't shoot horses. Malbers, finish your raccoon and get working on the next version of the Horse Animset Pro, please, mate.
I think Malbers, he was shooting the horse in one of his promo videos.
He was, wasn't he? Anyway, yeah, Malbers, what are you telling us not to shoot horses? And you're the originator of the horse shooting video. How dare you? How very dare you judge us. Mate, thank you so much for keeping up with your promises and delivering UFPS 2 and TPC 2, otherwise known as UC, the Ultimate Character Controller.
Yeah. The ultimate. But no, we'll get all this fixed and we'll get it released as soon as we can.
UC.
Yeah.
Just be glad you didn't start with a word that began with the letter Y, because that would have been really dodgy. All right, guys. I'm going to catch you later, Justin, and try to get some more funky stuff out of you and find more bugs and submit them to you.
well, no, this has been extremely useful for us as well from that standpoint. So thank you.
And Sarah wants some coffee because she's not going to sleep for the next few days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only 7 o'clock here, so we have plenty of time.
It's the weekend.
Yeah,
it's the weekend.
We haven't had a weekend in 2 months.
Really? Wow. You need to Irish up that coffee, I think.
Right.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Sarah. I'll speak to you guys later. Everyone, that is Opsive's, Justin, and Sarah. And maybe next time we get to speak to Sarah in chat, because we could hear in the background a little bit of talking.
Yeah, she was typing.
So next time we'll get Sarah, and you can sit and do the typing in chat, Justin. Or we
Sounds
can
perfect.
have all of us sitting in a group chat. might even be able to get Malbers in on that one so we can talk to us about shooting horses.
Or you can shoot horses, yep.
Yeah, yeah. All right, buddy, take care.
Thanks.
And that was it for the second part of my video with Opsive. Thank you very much to both the Opsive members of the Opsive team who came on for the live stream. Thank you to everyone in chat who enjoyed this on the live Twitch stream. Don't forget this video is part of a live Twitch stream that I did over on, guess what, Twitch, all the w's.twitch.tv/themessycoder. You can find me every Friday and Saturday, live streaming, doing dev interviews, playing games, doing coding, reviewing, generally having a good time. So tell all your friends and neighbours. If you like these videos, do click on the big juicy red subscribe button and, well, come over to Twitch and click follow as well. So if you do like it, click it. Till next time. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now, and down below there's that big juicy subscribe button, and right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.